high. Feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is another makeup tutorial. This one is in collaboration with Deck of Scarlet. If you guys haven't heard of Deck of Scarlet before, it's essentially a makeup subscription service where you pay $29.95 and every 2 months you'll get a new palette and some other goodies that you need to create some looks. So I know they've collaborated with a few big YouTubers such as Kelly Strack, Sondra Deluxe, and this one I'm showing you guys today is in collaboration with Yvonne Wahab. I think that's how I say her name, I'm not too sure. This is what the box looks like. It just has Deck of Scarlet written on there, and then when you open it up we just have a little card that closed. Then when you open up the box we just have a little picture of Yvonne, a little blurb on there, and it's just explaining that she's the artist-in-chief for this palette, and just a little bit about it. Then we just have a little protective kind of flap of foam, keeps the palette nice and safe. And then when you remove that you have the palette itself as well as 2 pencils. So first I'm going to show you guys the palette. It's got a little slip over it so it's nice and protected. It has 2 little flaps. So the top section has the eyeshadows and the face powders, and then the bottom section has the 2 lip colors. So it does keep them separate, so you're not going to have the lip colors and the powders kind of mixing together. Like I mentioned before, we have 3 eyeshadows in this palette. 2 of them are shimmery, Mermaid and Sunshine, and then we have 1 matte eyeshadow. We also have 2 face powders as well, Sandstone, which is a contouring shade, and Halo, which is a highlighting shade. And then in the bottom section of the palette we have 2 lipstick creams. So we have Coral, Kisses, and Almond. So as you guys can see, the colors in this palette are quite bright and vibrant, but we still do have those neutral essential shades in there as well. I actually used Sandstone on my eyes as well, and I think that's the best part about having face powders and eyeshadows in the one palette together, is that you really can use them for whatever. There's no rules. If you want to use eyeshadows on your face, you can use them on your face. If you want to use face powders on your eyes, you can use them on your eyes. You can even use the lipstick colors on your eyes if you're really into like that glossy lid kind of effect. I'm personally not into glossy lids, but I know it's like a huge trend at the moment. Then we also have a couple of lip pencils and eye pencils. So the first one I want to show you guys is this lip liner in the shade Cake Pop. I really like this. It's just a deep sort of brown nude. I've got it on my lips today, and I actually mixed it with that coral shade in the lip palette, as you guys will see in the tutorial portion of this video. And then we have an eyeliner in the shade Chameleon, and this is kind of the same sort of shade as the green eyeshadow in the palette. So it really doesn't matter what you use an eyeliner or a lip liner for. If you want to switch them around and use an eyeliner on the lips or a lip liner on the eyes, you can totally do that. So the idea of these palettes is to not overwhelm the consumer. Like, it's not too many shades that you don't know what to do. So for each new deck they will be collaborating with a YouTuber, so definitely keep your eyes peeled to see if any of your favorites collaborate with Deck of Scarlet. Like I said, the service is $29.95. They do offer free shipping, but they currently only ship to the US, the UK, and Canada, I believe. I'm not sure if I got those right, so we'll leave everything listed down below that you guys need to know. Also, they do let you cancel anytime, and you can skip that deck for that month if you aren't interested in the colors or you don't think that they suit your style or anything like that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them down below. I love chatting with you guys, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys do have. Anyway, I'm just going to jump straight in and show you guys how I created this spring inspired look using the Deck of Scarlet goodies. So really hope you enjoy this video. If you do, give it a big thumbs up, and let's just jump straight into it. So as you guys can see, I have already done my brows, lashes, and base off camera, but the only thing I do have on my cheeks is blush at the moment, so I don't have any contour or anything on there because we are going to be trying out the shade Sandstorm, which is a contouring shade, and then we have the shade Halo, which is a highlighting shade. So I'm going to go in with the shade Sandstorm, which is a really nice contouring shade. So I've just taken that on the edge of my brush and I'm going to apply this into the hollows of my cheeks. And I'm just taking my brush back and forth like this, and then I turn it flat just to buff that into the face. So that is really, really nice. I don't know if you guys can see the difference between the 2 sides, but it just looks more chiseled, and that blends out so seamlessly. So I'm just going to go in and do the other side as well the same way. So just taking it back and forth just under my cheekbone, and then in circles just to help blend everything out. I'm actually going to take it on my forehead as well, just add a little bit of dimension to my forehead. So now just dipping into Halo, which is the highlighting shade. I'm just going to get a whole ton of this on my brush because the more the merrier when it comes to highlighting. And I'm just going to apply it to the high points of my face. So just on top of my cheekbones, right here. Oh, that is so nice. It's like the prettiest, oh my god, can you see that highlight? Oh my god, that is so pretty. I like to take a little bit on my forehead as well, because I don't know, I just do. And on the tip of my nose, down the bridge, my cupid's bow, and then a little bit on my chin. So moving on to the eyes, I'm actually going to take the shade Sandstorm and use this as our transition shade. I like to go in with like a lighter shade first, just to help me blend out my eyeshadows. I feel like it just makes everything a little bit more seamless. So I'm just taking this on a fluffy brush and blending that into the crease. And I like to do this in windshield wiper motions and also in circular motions. So I just kind of change back and forth between those just to make sure everything is blended really seamlessly. And then I'm just taking that same shade on my lower lash line as well, and I'm just going to make sure that they do connect in the outer corner. Then on a smaller fluffy brush, I'm taking the shade Fudge, and we're basically just placing that in the exact same area, except this time we're only lightly blending it with this brush into the crease and on the lower lash line. And then we're just taking a larger, fluffier brush with no eyeshadow on it, and we're going to use this to blend that out. Then using a bit of concealer, I'm just going to create a cut crease. So it doesn't really matter too much what type of brush you use, as long as it's like a flat concealer type of brush. And we're basically just going to place this onto the eyelid, cut out our crease basically. So wherever your crease stops, go a tiny little bit above that, especially if you have hooded eyes. If you don't have hooded eyes, I think you'll be fine, but I have a slight little hood in mine, so when I look straight forward, they do fold over just the tiniest little bit. So I like to go a little bit above that, and that way it stops my eyeshadows from transferring onto my eyelid, like above my crease, if you guys feel me. And we're going to fade the concealer off about 3/4 of the way of our eye, just because we're going to be putting an eyeshadow shade on that part of the lid, and then we're going to be putting a different shade on the outer corner, and we want that to be a little bit more diffused and seamless, whereas we want the actual lid itself to be really cut. So try and get both eyes as even as possible before you go in with any other eyeshadows. It'll just be easier before the concealer's set to correct it. Once you set it with eyeshadows, it'll be a little bit harder to fix up that cut crease. So now we're just going to go in with the shade Sunshine, which is this gorgeous orange shade. And I'm just going to dip my brush in there. I'm using a fluffy brush again, but this one's a little bit more tapered, just because I don't want the color to be too vibrant on the lid. I do want to have a lot of this shade, but because it is so pigmented, I don't want to chuck a whole heap down all at once. I want to be able to build it up. So we're just going to start building that onto the lid. As you can see, because we use the concealer, this shade's going to come off a little bit lighter than it normally would, which is exactly what we're going for with this look. Then when it comes to the outer corner, I'm just lightly diffusing this orange into the outer corner area. We're going to go in with more brown eyeshadows and make everything blend a bit better, but just for the time being, I just want to kind of mesh these colors. Then as you guys can see, I've left a little bit just where my lid is. I haven't completely put the eyeshadow on that area. That's because we're going to go in with a smaller brush and do it a little bit more precisely. That way we don't lose the cut crease. We still keep it really defined. Then on a tapered fluffy brush, I am going back in with the shade Fudge, and I'm just going to blend this on the outer corner. We're going to use this to kind of mesh that orange a little bit more seamlessly into the outer corner of the eye. And I'm just lightly winging out this Fudge shade, and then making sure that's connected with the lower lash line as well. So now that I've finished the lid, I'm actually going to take the shade Halo, and I'm going to place this in the inner corners of my eye. I just feel like it'd be a really pretty pop for the inner corner. I'm just using a little thin brush. Doesn't really matter too much what brush you use. Just make sure it's teeny tiny. And then I want to use this green shade, which is called Mermaid. I think it's really, really pretty. But I just don't know where to use it. I think I might put it on the lower lash line, but I'm not sure how it'll go. I'm actually just going to use that same brush I just used for the inner corner. I'm not going to pick up too much because I'm not sure how this is going to look. Just going to place it right at my lash line. Then just taking a fluffy brush that we used earlier, I'm taking the shade Sandstorm and Fudge mixed together. That is those two brown shades. And I'm just using this to buff that green eyeshadow, the shade Mermaid. Just buffing that out a little bit so it doesn't look like too crazy. So it's more just like a slight hint of green rather than like a huge pop of green, if you guys get me. So that's the completed eye look, you guys. I just added a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes, but I'm really happy with how it came out. You guys know I love a good cut crease, so of course I had to do one with this palette. Now I'm just going to go in and finish off this look with my lips. So today we are going to use the shade, there's two lip colors that come in this palette, but I'm going to use the shade Coral Kisses. I've already dipped into this one, as you guys can see, but we're going to use Coral Kisses today because I just feel like with the eye look it looks really pretty and like, I don't know, kind of retro and stuff. So I think I'm actually just going to take this shade on my finger. It's like a really creamy lip cream type of consistency, and I'm just going to pat this into my lips. So I'm just going to spread the color out first. So these are really pigmented, but I don't want too much on my lips. I kind of want it to be more like a stain. And once I've gotten that light wash kind of spread out, I'm going to go in with the lip liner in the shade Cake Pop. So this is kind of like a dark brown kind of nude. And I'm just going to overline my lips and fade this color in so it kind of blends with the coral shade that we just used. So that's what those two lip colors look like mixed together. I actually really like it. It's kind of like a deep sort of nude but with like a coral undertone. I don't know how to describe it, but I really like it. I think it plays in really nicely with the eyes. It kind of looks like you just meshed like the coral and the brown together on the lips. So that's it for this video, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. A nice little pop of color for those of you going into spring. If you guys are interested in checking out this Deck of Scarlet palette, I will leave a link listed in the description box for you so you guys can check it out if you want to recreate this look. If you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Welcome back. What the hell? $29.99. Is it $29.99? 95. Look at all my teeth, yuck. Look at all my teeth. Please don't hesitate. Browns, I'm just every 2 months. Crackhead, cracker.